So welcome to the NoobTube YouTube channel. This is day 93, the 1st of December 2022, last month of 2022. The day began really early for me. The burglar alarm in our house went off at 5 a.m. and rousted me out of bed unexpectedly, and I had to go and answer the alarm company and provide a password and tell them I didn't need police. Everybody was up, and I didn't really. I tried to go back to bed, but I couldn't. So I had a. That was the beginning of what I would say, a not so good day. So I was tired. I didn't get sleep before the night previous. So I decided to do something that I do rarely, but it's part of my um, my goal is that I did the 1 minute on the treadmill. Just to say that I got on the treadmill, I started the treadmill, and I walked for 1 minute. I wasn't going to do the exercise because that was a day I was just totally exhausted. I didn't sleep well 2 nights in a row, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do the minute, which just give my body a break, you know. So again, I had a daughter that would not wake up, and I was really furious because that was the second night in a row, and I really lost my temper because they just can't not not get up, you know. So we have a problem, Houston. We have a problem, and um, you know so uh, if I can get up, and I'm 52 years old, early in the morning, and I go to bed early, then my daughters can get up and go to bed. That's their job. That's what I expect them to do. So we're gonna eventually, if it keeps happening, and I've talked to my wife, and we're gonna have this really big meeting, and there's gonna be really a lot of sanctions, and they're not gonna like it. Um, but I normally don't yell at my daughters, but I was really angry yesterday because it's like this, like it's going on, it's continuing on. It's like you have to please get up, and not listening. And I'm a former sergeant. I don't get people out of bed. I know how to do that. You know, um, so it's not a fun experience. I guarantee you, being on both the giving and receiving end of that type of sergeant barking at you, get up. But it is what it is. So then the day continued to be bad, and there will be bad days, Um, you know, but as a positive also, because I had an ACA meltdown. Again, um, I'm not satisfied with this arrangement that we have, where I'm paid by the enrollment, but I'm taking calls, and there's an expectation that I remain professional representing the insurance company that I'm representing. Um, but people are not qualified buyers. They're not, or they get on there and they don't qualify for an ACA plan. They don't make enough money, or they're not calling about an ACA plan. They're calling about an enrollment, or not enrollment, but a provider issue or a billing issue, or they want to know plan information, but then they want to go ahead and take care of it on their own, or they're working with an agent already. Um, and the calls that are being transferred, and it's maddening to them, and I'm getting the brunt of it because I start working with the customer, to only to find out that they're not interested in what I've got, and their issue is totally different. And they've already been transferred like 3 or 4 times. It's really like maddening for them, and I have no other option or help because we're an independent company. We're not a part of the insurance company to transfer them yet again. Um, and then there's a time where the the input and the administrative stuff that goes on in the background. When you're dealing with people's health insurance, um, it could be a matter of life and death, or it could be very catastrophic if the person walks away thinking they have been insured and they're not insured, and it's because of some mix-up or misunderstanding. I could easily have introduced human effort. I'm a human being. I could easily make a mistake. or the system makes a mistake. People will always complain that that they weren't told something when they were. So I was like ready to resign. I had actually tendered my resignation. I said, look, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work a shift unless um, I can do this at my own pace. Because to be honest, I've got the solar business, and I've got the Remote Wellness Academy, and I've got Amazon. I need the ACA money. The ACA money would be good, but I can't work like a dedicated shift. I can't say, hey, I'm going to be online from 11 to 8. I thought I was going to do that. That's biting off more than I can chew. And I just said, look, I can't do this anymore. I need to. So I want a concession, because I had been talking about. I told them like over the course of a couple of days, I hadn't been happy. I didn't like what's going on. I don't like, I had told them I wasn't calling this one lady back. They had, you know, got the recording of the conversation. They said, I didn't do anything wrong, but I don't like being put in that position. I don't want to be put in a defensive position. So I just said, look, I'm going to resign. And they said, no, please don't resign. If you want, you can take things as they are. Um, there's another program, another carrier that it provided a special phone for me, um, so that I can answer calls just for this carrier. And they said it's going to be better. It's going to be a lot easier. Those customers are more motivated. So, and I could take it as as I want to, and that's the way we're moving forward with that. That's the only way I'm moving forward with it. So that's good. So like this, like on day 93, I wanted to have lunch with a former doctor that I'm now friends with, and um, I went and had lunch, and it was only an hour, but if my shift is 11 to 7, and that's a good chunk of the day, and I went and had lunch with the doctor. Look, I'm semi-retired. I did 20 years in the military and 10 years in the State Department. Um, I like to work. I like to stay busy. I like to make money. But at this point in my life, I need to do it on my own terms, and my own timetables, and that's super important to me. Like if I need to take a break, if I need to turn it off, or I want to shift focus for something, I need to do that. I need to go out and have lunch with people. I need to go out and shift gears. Sometimes I just need a little time to listen to some music. I don't think I'm lazy, because I'm willing to go out and work and do all this stuff, but I can't do it on their time frames. If I'm dealing with people who are just idiots, it's time for me just to say, okay, well, you know what, I can be professional. I can handle that situation, but now I'm taking a break, because I'm not going to go from that call right on to the next call. And there were literally, on this day 93, I had like a couple of idiots in a row. Two different people that burned up, like they burned up about between like half an hour to 45 minutes each, and they weren't interested. They were like, oh, well, we need to think about it, and we're not interested. And they weren't interested in the beginning. They just wanted to get some information. And we don't really have a plan. So these people go, they burn up my time, and then they self-enroll, and I don't get any credit for it. And I'm like, a part of me wants to ask them, just say, hey, look, you know, I just spent 45 minutes on the phone explaining these plans to you. Whether you sign up with me or you sign up yourself, you're going to pay the same rate. You're going to pay the same premium. You're going to get the same benefits. Why not do me a solid and let me get compensated, especially because I took the time to help you? But you can't really do that. It's awkward. It's all very, very awkward. The whole system that they've got is very, very awkward. Um, a lot of times the client, they're calling in. So this is the really maddening thing, is they're calling into the insurance company. We have a contract. The company that I work for, or I'm contracted with, we're licensed and appointed with this health insurance company. So from the customer's perspective, the customer's calling in the insurance company trying to get plan information. The people at the insurance company are transferring them to an independent company, us, to help with enrollment because it's like an overflow. It's like, we've got too many calls, you guys deal with it. So then the customer is surprised to learn that they're not. It's like, isn't this not this insurance company? Is it? I thought I was reaching this insurance company. Like, no, we're independent contractors licensed and appointed with this insurance company. And they're frustrated because they've already been transferred 2 or 3 times. They just were trying to get some information, but then I don't get paid by the hour. They're wasting my time. So now maybe, and I'm trying to see it from all sides. I'm trying to be fair, and this is a thing. I'm trying to see it from their perspective. I'm not paying for leads. I'm not paying for any leads. Sometimes, when you're in the sales business, you're gonna come across people who are just looking to gather information and are never gonna move beyond that point. I get it. But if they have no intention from the get-go, right? If their issue could have been solved before ever coming to me, right? If they're just wanting to know, hey, is this doctor taken by this plan, and they don't want to renew and they don't want to enroll, then that's something that should have been handled by other people. And that was almost, like I said, that was almost to me a deal breaker. But if I will continue doing this because it's lucrative, if I can do it on a flexible schedule, really like whenever I freaking feel like it, right? And with disabilities and things like that, and I do have disabilities, um, it's not bullshit. I really do have like limitations and all that, or what I can do. I have to take life at my own pace, right? I'm intelligent, I'm licensed, I can do this stuff, but I have to do this at my own pace. And it may not be the same pace that they want, but if they don't want me doing this, it's easy to remove ACA from my schedule, and focus more on the solar. The solar in the end is going to pay more, but it just takes longer. It takes, when I get a customer to commit to solar, it's usually takes 3 or 4 months before you see your first profit from it. Whereas ACA sales, I could sell today, and I'm probably going to get paid next month. So that's what the ACA sales were. I did some solar calls with Gus, and that's a trip because I can't do what Gus does. Gus has made $500,000 in 18 months with the solar company that we're with, and he talks to people like, yeah, hey, it's obvious that you don't know anything about solar. I could never get away with saying some of the things about with Gus. Um, uh, but the the really interesting thing is the times that I've been on the line on hold and on Zoom with him is that a lot of times people really resonate with that. Here I am. I try to go out of my way to be prim and proper and you know, yes sir, yes ma'am, and please and thank you and appreciate you and all that. Here's a guy who's like, hey, you need to. I'm going to send you some videos. You need to watch it, and you need to get online and signed up right now, okay? And it's like, but it's working. It works for him, we both talked about it and laughed about it. It's like, it's like Donald Trump. Donald Trump can say whatever is on his mind, and it comes off different. If I tried to do that, if I tried to be Gus, if I tried to be Donald Trump, it's not going to work for me. I can't be Gus or Donald Trump because I'm not Gus or Donald Trump. I'm Jeff Feldman. So Jeff Feldman is, I have a different set of energy, and I haven't made $500,000 yet like Gus. So um, I'm more like, hey, let's build a team, let's work together, and things like that. Gus is more, um, it's more surprising. So, and then afterwards, we had a power advocacy call. So there's I don't know. So Gus wanted me to attend this call, um, because in California, whatever California does has an impact on all the rest of the country, like it or not. And a lot of times we don't like it. Um, you know, California they can come up with rules, and manufacturers and things like that really don't have too much of a choice. There are certain products that go on Amazon that can't be sold or sent to California because California doesn't allow it. California right now is talking about they're passing laws that in 10 years you're not going to be allowed to sell a new gasoline power engine. So in 10 years, when you want to go buy a new car in California, it's got to be an electric car. An electric car means you got to hook it up at home. And there's certain places out west, I think in California, where solar is going to become mandatory. It's going to be mandatory to have solar panels. It's not going to be optional. It's optional now. So the opportunity is now. And it's like 180 million homes that could have solar and they don't. But the issue that the advocacy call is talking is about the electric companies are pushing back, and they're trying to like limit or get rid of net metering, which is where when you collect energy from the sun, your excess energy goes back to the power company as a credit, um, and they don't want to do that. So our people's homes require net metering to make the system a really viable system. So they are really fighting hard to prevent its the power companies have huge lobbying mechanisms, and they have a lot of money, um, but they've really gone out. Power has really gone out and said, hey, this is a really a sleeper issue, but it's a really important issue that they expect to win. I think they're going to win. They want people to have solar in California. Um, they're talking about green energy. They don't want to make it difficult, but the power companies, even in green states, even in states where, and I'm not a green person, by the way, but I like money. The green that I like is the green that you can take to the bank in cash and buy groceries with and stuff. The green states want people to have solar, and they want people to have all the benefits associated with solar. But the power companies, even in those green states, people are influenced by the vast amount of money. Um, I'm really kind of like I've really changed my political beliefs a lot, because not because of taking a position one way or another. It's just that, hey, the game is all set and rigged. People who have the money are the ones who really are in control. These major corporations that don't have our best interest in they it doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, conservative, or liberal, progressive, libertarian. It doesn't matter. It's just you know the lobbying by these major companies can really set the policy. Even with liberal or left people who support green energy can be influenced by the amount of money. So there was an advocacy call. Gus asked me to be on this call, and yes, that's a very important thing, because what happens in California can spread all over the country. Just like the gasoline engine, when they stop allowing gasoline engines to be new cars that have gasoline engines in 10 years, other states are going to have to follow, because Ford Motor Company, for example, is not going to continue to manufacture gasoline engines that are not being allowed to sold in California. And as if other states join in, it's done. It's like, you can count in 15, 20 years that all cars are going to be electric cars. You'll still have legacy gasoline cars that are on the road, but you're going to see less and less in them. In the remainder of my life, probably before I clock out, I hope that I'll live to see a day where it'll be a rarity to see a gasoline powered car. Finally, I finished out the day helping a veteran with a disability application, and it took him a little bit of time, but I'm like, dude, it's like, hey, let's finish this up tomorrow, and I'm like, no, let's do it now. He's like, you've been procrastinating for years. Finish this thing and get it sent to the VA so that you can start getting the benefits that you deserve. And I live, I feel I have a very good sense of pride when I'm able to help somebody. When I have some of this knowledge, life experience. I was talking to the doctor at lunch today about, hey, I've lived all over the world. I've lived on 4 continents. I've lived in these different places. and I've had all these different experiences, but I'm not yet a person of notoriety. It's like I could write a book, but who would read it? Because you know, but I've acquired a whole bunch of information. Well, like this is a good example of like one person that I can have an impact that doesn't have this information, that for years has not had the veterans benefits that he's deserved, he and his family have deserved. And he was telling me the story a couple of years ago where he was on food stamps and Medicaid, and it's like, you've been in the military for a long time. You had jump status. You were in the Middle East. Um, why are you not getting these benefits? So we work together, and like, no, finish this, do it now, get it done. Don't procrastinate. You've been procrastinating this for years, and it's a fight, and it's just the beginning of the fight. But I think even in his initial disability application, I think he's going to get a substantial rating right off the bat, and you know, that's going to help him and his family. And I'm really proud of that. I'm glad that, and I did tell him, it's like, yes, you're going to be happy that you got this, but you're also going to be very upset that you wasted all this time, because I think he got out of the military in the year 2000, that you wasted all this time, um, when you could have uh, been getting these benefits for years, and you didn't. And the VA will give you back pay from the time that you set your application, but you're not going to get it to him before. So he's going to miss out, and that's going to cost him, tens of thousands of dollars minimum, just because he didn't do that. So you can't cry over that, but going forward, he can get these benefits, and he'll have them. And I told him, I'll tell everybody who's watching this video, whoever may be watching this video, you fight these fights now while you still have, some sanity and you're cognizant, because there may come a time when you get older where you can't advocate for yourself. And if you didn't fight the fight, other people can't fight the fight for you because they don't know what you did. So if you take the time to establish these things, establish service connection, and establish that you have these issues, right? When there comes a time when you can't, when you have your demise, and every human being will have a demise, you want to have it set up that it's gonna be there for you. It's gonna, that's gonna be there for you. So that's all I'm saying. So thank you very much for watching this. That was my day. I didn't make this video until I was late making the video previous to this, because it was such a long day, and my priority was not making this video. It was helping the veteran finish his application. So that's why I was late for a day. I have 2 videos today that I'm making back to back. So I'm committed to doing it every day, but that was an exception where I missed that because it was just an off day, starting with the alarm going off way early in the morning, and just a somewhat bad day, but ended on a positive note. So with that, I will leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.